Good evening, everybody. My name is, welcome to the next episode of the NetTalk series. So my name is Geoffrey Wheeler from Tanzania-NetTalk. What we, like I said, what we'll discuss this evening is the future of e-mobility in Tanzania. So we have two guests from in our session today. So we have Erick and Mercy. So we'll just go into the formal introduction so they can introduce themselves. I think maybe Mercy, you can start first, and then we can go to Erick afterwards.
Hi, everyone. My name is Mercy. I work at Tree, an e-mobility company based in Tanzania. We are in operations for 3 years now, and our primary focus is electric three-wheelers. We import CKD, completely knocked down, and then we assemble here with partners like DIT, and we distribute them in the market through lease-to-own scheme or retail.
Yeah, hi everyone. Good evening. My name is Erick Momo Moro. I'm a Tanzanian diaspora living in Germany and Tanzania. I'm a founder and CEO of Momo Mobility. And what we do, Momo Mobility is an electric mobility company in Tanzania with our slogan to say that we want to electrify mobility in Tanzania. And our aim as Momo Mobility is to provide sustainable and affordable mobility solution for both areas in Tanzania, rural areas and urban areas, through supporting economically young people in Tanzania. So we do have two types of vehicles, electric motorcycles and electric tukutuku. In Tanzania is very famous, they call it Bajaji. Of course, Bajaji is a brand name, it's another company. So we call it tukutuku, Emo tukutuku. And yeah, it's a revolution. We want to make change in Tanzania. That's why Momo Mobility is there. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah. So based on on our findings, we realized that there's not so many companies doing this. Although we know there's a huge potential in the electric vehicle industry. And one of the reports that we read, which was from March this year, showed that I think Tanzania is one of the leading companies in East Africa in terms of electric vehicles. In terms of the growth of electric vehicles, I think at the moment there are over 5,000 registered electric vehicles in Tanzania, which is much higher compared to what Kenya and Uganda or even Rwanda and Burundi have to offer. Of course, this is also subject to the different findings that we found on the internet. From my understanding, so the facts that we read, that I mentioned here from the news, from this article, how common are these electric vehicles in the different cities in Tanzania? So not only in Dar es Salaam, but to you. So maybe Mercy, you can go first because I know you've been traveling a lot. So how far are we reaching out in the country on the electric vehicles?
Of course, I'd like to go first. I would like first to correct something first before the registered part. I'm not sure if all these vehicles are registered, but the importer is the one that gave us the number of vehicles he has put in the market. But it's not, that number is modest. It's like being modest, but there's more than 5,000 in the market. Okay. Yeah. In terms of reach, I have been very glad to see that I've seen two-wheelers in Tarime. Mm-hmm. I've seen two-wheeler in Tarime town, and then I saw another two-wheelers on my way to Tarime in Bunda. I saw how would you call them, gutas for mm-hmm. carrying cargo. I saw them also somewhere between that road, Tarime and Mwanza, somewhere there. So I've seen 4 electric wheelers, electric three-wheelers and two-wheelers on this road. That made me very happy. I've seen in Kigoma with my 2 eyes, Kigoma region. I've seen in Tabora, two-wheelers. Of course, Zanzibar, in terms of Unguja and Pemba, they've been using them for a very long time. They use it as scooters. They use it actually as a family property as well, not for business only. And of course, in Dar, they're mainly used. So now we have now it's becoming a bit commercial in Dar, where we have, for instance, our company, we have at least 50 vehicles on the road right now, 53 wheelers on the road right now. And then we plan to have more and more. Hopefully by the end of next year, we'll have at least 300 to 500 pieces on the road. Yeah. And then we have companies like Emo, we have Emotions that are going all the way to four-wheelers in terms of tourism industry. So the reach is spreading. We have even we have just recently sold one vehicle to a company in Njombe. So when you go to Njombe, I am sure there's a three-wheeler supplied by us.
Okay, that's good to know. Are you of the same opinion, Eric? I think I know you're mostly based in Dar es Salaam, but are you of the same opinion about the reach, the outreach of these electric vehicles in the country?
Yes, what Messi is talking is correct. In Tanzania, you find most of them, there are those tukutukus, which are cargo tukutuku, tricycles, which they carry some cargoes like maize, or they carry some water and delivering from one place to another. And you can find this not only in big cities, even in the villages, and they're very famous. Even me, I was for 2 years, I was in Songea, in the village where my mother is born. So I saw them, these electric vehicles, especially the three-wheelers. But not only that, in Tanzania, you can find in most of the regions a lot of scooters. In other countries, they call it also scooters, the small one, not boda boda, like what I say, emo boda boda. Boda boda is more for business. So it's a more business oriented, but the scooters, they are only just for normal service, for normal transportation, or for the last mile service. So both types of vehicles, like what Messi mentioned them, they are all over in Tanzania. And for us as Emo Boda Boda, we are not only in Dar es Salaam. Emo Boda Boda is working all over in Tanzania. And we do have also customers in the villages, somewhere like in Singida. So we do have customers in Singida. You can find our Boda Bodas even in Mwanza, and we're thinking about other projects to go to the interior Mwanza to start project on the Lake Victoria to apply Emo Boda Bodas. So Emo Boda Boda also is wide, and we have a vision that all over Tanzania to reduce this problem of the environmental distractions through fuel Boda Boda by applying electrics one.
Okay, maybe just to understand the idea of them being spread, but I think also one aspect that was brought up was the comparison between mainland and Zanzibar. I've been to Zanzibar as well several times, and you really see there's lots of especially private-owned electric motorcycles. And the question is, what is so different in Zanzibar compared to mainland that Zanzibar has made this more advanced when it comes to this compared to Dar es Salaam? Maybe for listeners here, someone can elaborate more.
I'll say it's simply down to importation, ease of importation. That's how I see it. I think in Zanzibar, it's easy to bring stuff in and to actually start operating without complications of importation issues and everything that comes with importations.
Okay, so it's more about restrictions in the import regulations that we have. Yeah,
I think so. Yeah.
In addition to that, also in Zanzibar, you find that Zanzibar, they have a culture of riding scooters. And Zanzibar, if you see Zanzibar, when you travel in Stone Town in Zanzibar, you see the street, they are very small. And through that, people in Zanzibar, they have created this culture since many years to ride some scooters. So that's why you find in Zanzibar, there are many and more scooters compared to the mainland. That I can say also.
Okay. And then maybe just sticking to the barriers that you mentioned, especially in the import sector. And I know both of you are mostly doing doing the final assembly in Tanzania. So apart from the import regulations that we're talking about, what are the main challenges that you're facing that you think are hindering or stopping the growth of the electric vehicles in Tanzania?
I have observed that until now we are still yet behind on policy and regulations.
Mm-hmm.
There's a bit and pieces there, but it's not together. Like
Mm-hmm.
there is some sort of not clear policies in terms of importations, in terms of being on the road, regulations on the road. We are lacking that.
Mm-hmm.
And like simply put, let's say a traffic police stops you, which regulatory parameters does he use to regulate you?
Mm-hmm.
So we are lacking behind on that. I don't know. What do you think, Eric?
In addition to that, the lack of policy and regulation, there are other biggest challenges which I see from my side, because we did a pilot project before we start to go to the market. We wanted before that to do a pilot project, and through our pilot project we came up with some very, very big challenges. So I can say one of them is that lack of knowledge of electric vehicles to the society of Tanzania. You know, you find that as we were doing our pilot project, you see that because we are dealing with young people, boda riders and tukutuku riders, so they don't have this education of electric vehicles. When you tell him that this is a boda which can travel without fuel, some of them, they're thinking like a magic. They didn't want to believe it. So this is a electric boda. So it was our duty to teach them, to tell them, hey, there are other way of saving your money, saving your operation costs through electric one. But not only that, the most common and important for us as a challenge, as a company, was to find and create a good team. The people who understand about electric mobility, the workers, people who are committed, because this is a revolution in Tanzania. It's something new. It's something new. So if you start that, you need a team, you need people, you teach people on how about electric vehicles and how this business is working. So to get such of people who are committed also was one of the challenge. I can also discuss about other things like scarcity of energy, electricity card, and some infrastructures. But those, the three ones which I mentioned before, those were the major challenges what we faced as Emo Boda Boda.
Okay.
Can I top it up just quickly that awareness is going to be for us companies that who we are starting. We like one of our responsibility, I suppose, will be educating the masses about electric vehicle and allowing ourselves to be, like, for lack of a better term, like the guinea pig of testing the market. So what we are going through right now, we have a lot of testing and testing and testing and testing. So someone who is doing this business for a very long time, remember we are talking of their daily income. So to change them from how they're earning to how they are, to move them forward to an electric vehicle, it takes a minute. And when we give them to test drive, you see someone go, so it's fast. First of all, they'll tell you it's not fast, it's slow, it cannot move, it cannot go up a mountain. And then when they try, they'll be like, oh, it's fast. Oh, wait, but it's quiet. Oh, wait, it doesn't have a clutch. Wait, I just switch on and go because they're automatic. So they have some sort of amazement and wonder. And then now we start dealing with the challenge of dealing with the battery now, understanding the mindset. So normally the mindset is you wake up in the morning, you have money to start work, so you put mafuta, then you go through your day. Now, the mindset is you wake up in the morning, you have charged your vehicle, and off you go. The problem is that they forget to charge. They wake up in the morning, they didn't charge the night before, and then they go on the road, and then they'll call you, your batteries, man, we didn't charge. Nah, did you charge last night? No. But then it's awareness is gonna be a process. But luckily I've seen that there's acceptance as well. Like you show they try, then they accept, then they adjust slowly, they will get to it.
I think if I totally understand. So I think one of the issues that was also mentioned, and I've also seen a question from one of our attendants here, is that, so you're talking about consumer knowledge as being one of, I think I personally feel is one of the biggest, is a bigger challenge than even the regulations, because I think so
Of course,
with the government.
I agree with you.
So what are you doing to address this? So are you organizing seminars? So I think Lucy Otian mentioned what kind of marketing channels are you using to address this issue? Because I think it's nowadays with the social media campaigns, social media that we have, so how far are we using this? How far are we offering, let's say, free of charge seminars on this issue? Maybe both of you can say something to this.
We are very aggressive on pushing on awareness and marketing them. What we are doing right now, first of all, on our social media platform, we have mentioned that we do have the vehicles and you can book a test drive. So we have those booking test drive. We have done an extensive media communication with all major media houses. We have done video interviews, YouTube interviews. We have done radio interviews. We have done magazine interviews. We are, let's say, saying we are open to cooperate with any other outlet who is like willing to share the information and stuff like that. Also, what we do drive-bys. We go to Vigiwe. We go to the stations where they are, and we offer test drives. We do a lot of that. We go around Kariakor areas, Mbezi area, we go Kimara area, we do a lot of test drive. So we go there, we let them drive. We park them, we get there, we say, okay, so nendeni zunguka mrudi. The good thing is we have tracked the vehicles. It's not like they can switch on and go and not come back. So we give test drives, and then we take their contacts, and then some of them come to the office for further clarification, for more questions, for further understanding. And then also we have found ways of partnering with local fundis for learning the vehicle, for fixing purposes and stuff like that. So we are going all the angles that we can work with at the moment. But what has been very successful is going to the stations where they are and offer them test drives. That has been very successful, because after they try, they go, oh, okay, so I'm going to tell my boss, or I'm going to show my brother, I'm going to tell my father, let me show my boss this. I think this is better, something like that. So it has been very received very well. Also, we've gone to Kariakor to shops where they have display units and spoke to them and show them our vehicle and gave them test drive, educate them about the vehicle. They've let us put some vehicles in Kariakor for display as well. So we are pushing out there.
Okay. And maybe Eric, I think the question of marketing has been well addressed. The issue of technicians, you also mentioned, Eric, from your side. How are you solving this? Are you working together with institutions like VETA for better training? So how are you? I mean, Mercy talked about working with local garages which are repairing this, but how are you solving the issue of technicians? Because I think that's what is really needed, especially if you're going to go into the mass production and mass distribution of this.
Of course, we have our staffs, which are engineers and technicians. So we have two personnel, people who are responsible on this department. But apart from that, we are working with local technicians. And within our workshop, there is also a youth organization, an NGO. So through this NGO, which is called Talent Search and Empowerment, so we try also to talk with those young people, new generation, which they have interest to be technicians in the future. So that is how do we do. But apart from that, like what Mercy said, social media is very important. So we use also social media channels, but also our office is located in the center of Dar es Salaam, somewhere in Magomeni, and closer to this Dar es Salaam rapid buses. So when the buses and the customer, they are traveling, boda traveling, they can see our vehicles. That is easy. But not only that, we just also go to the institutions, to the NGOs, women NGOs, to empower them. We just go also even to the government institutions like TANESCO. We had some visitors from TANESCO, which they came to us and see our vehicles. So we just look always to the partners which we think that they can be possible to apply our vehicles, especially our bodas, so as they can create employment to the young people who are unemployed.
Okay, thank you for this. And then maybe just related to the issue, there's also a question here: how are you powering your electric vehicles, the bodas or the tuk-tuks? Because as the reports show that I think we're talking about, the government has says there's a reach of about 45% of the national grid towards the homes, but the plan until 2025 is to reach 75%. How dependent are you on, or how dependent are your customers related to TANESCO, and what are the existing infrastructure? I think you mentioned briefly the issue of infrastructure, but how is this support or a challenge at the moment? So the existing grid infrastructure in Germany, in Tanzania, sorry.
I like how you put it in Germany. Maybe we might need to find out the challenges in Germany. Maybe we might help to understand here what we can do here in Tanzania.
I can, as far as I know, I think it's basically similar challenges. So we have the issue of, I mean, the regulation is pretty clear, I would say. I'm not so deep in this, but I think the awareness and also the charging systems is one of the biggest challenges in Germany. So people having, I mean, you have to go the distances, but also the charging infrastructure is a big challenge in Germany as well.
So what we offer is we offer a solution that comes with 2 batteries, 2 lithium-ion batteries. That means they stay with charge long, and 2 fast chargers. So because we are faced with a chicken and egg situation, at the moment we offer that so that someone has full autonomous to charge at home. That's number one. So we made it convenient. However, there is still the range anxiety situation where someone still thinks, well, I still need to charge during the day. So because you are walking around with the charger, you can charge anywhere. Of course, it comes with a cost, but they can charge in different places. In the meantime, we have started maybe saying like a research or testing how to put down charging stations. So we have placed one at our offices in Makumbusho. Now, I think our timing was right. Luckily, when we placed it, we just sold a vehicle to a lady who does bakery, and she does delivery of cakes. And it just so happened in her area, there was no electricity to charge. So she managed to get just a little bit of electricity to get to our offices and charge, since the delivery was in that area. Okay. So that came in very handy. So now you will have some few vehicles that will park in front of our office in Makumbusho, and they'll charge from there. That's a starting place, but then it allows us to know that it's workable and it's doable, and you can place charging station in different convenient locations, and people can charge. But for now, we have to make do with the charging from home and charging from a convenient location, as our country is adapting towards electrification of vehicles.
Okay, thank you. And Erick, how are you using?
Sorry, we have another charging station at DAT as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. And Erick, how are you using I mean, one of the biggest resources that we have in Tanzania is the sun. So how are you using the solar enabled? Because I think we can be very independent of, I mean, your organization can be very independent of the national electric supply. So how are you using the solar availability to enable your your business?
That's a good question. And as I told you before that we did a pilot project. So through pilot project, we know what are cons and pros. So then we came up with a solution for that. So our tukutuku are using solar. So they have a solar panel on the top of the tukutuku. So it means that our tukutuku, Emo tukutuku, can travel up to 200 kilometers, wherever. When the sun is shining, they can travel all the kilometers. So we solved that situation, and we knew that there's a problem of infrastructure. The charging system will be one of the problem, because as long as you are going to install a charging infrastructure somewhere, and you are depending electricity, sometimes there's electricity cuts, so it means the problem will still be there. So what we thought is to come up with our tukutuku on top with the solar. So all emo tukutuku, they have solar on the top. But not only that, but our bodas, they are using also 2 batteries. So we use 2 batteries. With 2 batteries, you can go to 150 kilometers. But according to our research, what we did, we saw that our clients, boda riders, most of them, they are not traveling for more than 100 kilometers per day. So if they are not traveling more than 100 kilometers per day, this means that even one battery, which have enough power, they can do their business without any problem. But we still use some 2 batteries within a bike. But still now we are talking with different partners, different companies, which they can give us ideas, like what Messi said. Maybe we want ideas from German. How do they German manage to do that? Or maybe we want ideas from China, idea from India. How do they manage to do that? And this is what we want, and that is what we are doing.
Okay, thank you. Maybe just sticking to the point of having the solar chargers. I know one of the challenges, of course, I mean, when it comes to energy consumption, is also weight. So I am imagining you're having this solar panel at the top of your tuk-tuk, which is again additional weight you're putting on the tuk-tuk to increase which means you're consuming more energy to move the vehicle. Isn't this like working against what you're trying to achieve in terms of the drive range, because of the weight of the solar panels, or these are modern panels that are very light panels that
Our
you're
solar
using?
panel technical, it's very light, and
Okay.
you can travel so many kilometers. So we did a research, and we saw that this is doable, and something like this what we need in order our riders to get enough income, and to use those income for their daily uses.
Okay, thank you. Messi, maybe a question to you first, and maybe Eric can add on to this later on. Eric talked about China and other Asian countries, or even Germany. How are these countries at the moment posing a threat to your business ideas, so business concept at the moment? Because I personally know that in China it's being pushed a lot, and if they come into the East African market or Tanzanian market, they will probably be a very, very big, I would say, competitor. So how are they being a challenge for you at the moment?
So, all right. So it's clear that we understand that there's competition from countries like China and other Asian nations, and India has gone really e-mobility very hard on it, and especially when it comes to the 3-wheelers. To cope with this, we focus on offering local relevant products and services and building a customer relationship. So we work closely with our customers, especially in this initial stage. Feedback is everything to us. So we have a lot of back and forth with our customers. So we build strong customer relationships, and then we also making sure our business model is what will make us different by the time bigger players of Chinese bigger players come to the market and all that. We cannot avoid the fact that they are actually somehow supporting us for us to be able to produce, to be able to access this market. So we work hand in hand.
Okay. Anything to add on to this, Eric? In terms of competition from outside?
Okay, yeah, it's a good question. For me, what I see is not in terms of saying it's a competition. When you compare a country like China, because country like China, it has already some miles. China is making production on those vehicles, and not only in Tanzania, worldwide, even in Germany, where I'm living. Also, there's some products from China, especially these electric vehicles, which are coming from China. So for me, what I see from China, they can come to Tanzania. It's a free market, and the market is very big. Tanzania has a very big population. There are a lot of young people which they are waiting for those vehicles to come. But for me, what I say that what we need is to learn from each other, to learn from those countries which are coming to Tanzania to invest and see how do they invest their technology, and us to teach them, to teach our generation how to build our own product, the product which can cover which can solve our problem, the product which can be cost affordable. So I think that is good. So such type of things what we need, instead of competition, but something that we can work together, but for the promise of teaching our generation some new and young engineers.
Okay. Yeah. I think thank you, Eric. Mercy, you have something to add on?
Yeah, I just wanted to add that probably by speaking of what Eric has said, learning and seeing how we can make it happen in our country, and working with the young people in growing this technology. By end of next year, we are looking to have our own plant for battery, for manufacturing and assembling batteries locally. Okay. Which that will change a lot the issue in the whole industry of electric
dependency.
Yeah, the dependency. Yes.
Okay, that's good. Good news to hear. Maybe talking about the battery, that brings me maybe the next question. So, which is an environmental aspect? I myself was working for SMA, which produces solar inverters, and one of the challenges that we had is we had an integrated battery in the inverter. Was the issue of recycling? So how do you deal with the old batteries? Yeah. So how do you bring them? So, and this is a big environmental issue. So how are you coping up at the moment with? I know you're in, I would say, in the initial stages of the business, but how are you addressing the battery challenge in terms of the recycling, and how do you? Because I know there's not so many companies that do this, because the more we bring out these electric vehicles, the more we need the batteries, but we also need to get rid of them. So how are you addressing, how is the supply chain for those batteries looking like at the moment?
For us, oh, sorry, go ahead, Eric, go ahead.
For us, as a startup, as a company, we are using lithium batteries, but of course the lithium batteries has a lifespan between 4 to 5 years. And now we are thinking about to find a solution for that. So we are in the discussion with different companies, which they can bring to us that technology in the coming 4 or 5 years that will be ready to recycling our batteries, which will be died. So we are in the process for that.
So I would say for us, the answer is in the name. Tree, business name is Tree Better with Batteries. Our intention is to use, like, the battery is what carries the electricity, so to have it for different uses. So after we do the manufacturing of the battery locally, the next part will be using the batteries for home users as well. So after it's used, as Eric mentioned, lithium batteries have a long life cycle. So that means after it's used, it can also be used for electricity storage. That's the next stage that we are looking at. But we haven't gone as far as to see what can happen 10 years after that.
Okay, so that means we're looking at another, I would say, business opportunity here in terms of the recycling of the batteries as well, which means, I mean, the manufacturing is already an issue, so even the recycling as well will be is an issue that needs to be addressed, definitely. Okay, yes. So we see another different opportunity here. There's a question in the chat here, and by the way, feel free to bring in as many questions as you have, but there's a question about the price. Somebody mentioned the Toyota Piggy Piggies, but I think we're talking about the TVS and all these other brands that are known. So how do you compare in terms of, if you're looking at a normal two-wheeler, so a normal boda, so how are you comparing? You don't need to mention the exact prices, but how are you comparing in terms of prices with a normal diesel or fossil fueled two-wheelers?
Yeah, I can speak on that because Emo Boda Boda, we are all now in the business. So when you compare the prices, of course, Emo Boda Boda, the electric one, is more expensive than those fuel one. So the difference is almost like 10% when you compare the prices.
Mm-hmm.
But what we are always giving education, trying to teach people how important in a long run. It's not now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's not now for the fuel, like fuel pikipikis, fuel boda boda. You buy it for the cheapest price, but the negative impact what you are causing to the society, environmental destruction, the operation cost, and etc. So those are the things which at the end, in the long run, as a boda boda rider will see very expensive. So what we do is to educate them and to tell them, yeah, of course, our Emo boda boda is a bit expensive, but as long as you'll have it, you will save a lot of costs. But also we do have different business models that what we want everybody or a lot of boda boda riders to ride Emo boda bodas. So our business models, they are cheaper compared to the other companies which they just sell cash fuel boda bodas.
Okay. Mercy, anything to add to this, especially on the three-wheelers, which I think is your main focus?
So on the three-wheelers, our price difference from what we're selling to what's there in the market, the only difference is 300,000. So we can say the price is almost the same. Compared that we're giving you a complete solution, 2 batteries, 2 charging. You charge, you go 100 kilometers, you go more than 100 kilometers, and you're good to go. So with time, of course, you have to give them, like, we also give, onboarding. We do onboarding. And then we educate the person how to use it, and it's so with the moment we mention the price, it's no longer a barrier. So someone sees it's not as bad. So now someone can just look at the price at other brands, and then look at Tree and go, why not? The price is not that far apart. And then of course we do have lease to own scheme. So, and then also we also try to partner with banks and other financial institutions to support this drivers who want who are not able to come up with the cash up front, but they can work with the bank and be able to access the vehicle immediately.
Oh, okay. So you're partnering with the banks as well. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe also sticking to the financing part of it, and of course also looking at the So do you have is it in Tanzania like an umbrella organization which is bringing up the different stakeholders in the e-mobility sector? Do you have like an umbrella organization that is doing this?
At the moment, we have Taema, and we at Tree hosted the first meeting. One of the meetings this year, we hosted them at our offices. Hopefully we'll have more, and the organization is on registration process, like getting the paperwork done. So that's ongoing right now.
Okay.
I don't know any other. I'm not. And then there's AFIMA, and then there's other organizations that are out there. So it's an ongoing process.
Okay. And then maybe also the next question I would direct it towards Erick also, maybe Mercy can also add to this. So is there something like a national strategy to promote the e-mobility sector in Tanzania? Is there something that is officially communicated by the government for this?
There is.
Yeah, of course. What I know until now, there's some policies which they are in the discussion between government officials and some stakeholders from the e-mobility ecosystem. So we still waiting for this agenda to come out, and then maybe to come with some laws which they can be affordable for us. So like what Messi said before, Taema, even me, I know Taema, and Emo Mobility is the member of Taema. So Taema is just an umbrella for all of us, stakeholders and sellers of electric motorcycles.
Okay.
So I will add to that. I am aware of exactly topping up what Eric is saying, that there is a conversations, there's ongoing conversation. For instance, we have had conversations with Ewura. They came, for them to familiarize themselves. We have had conversations with different institutions, DAWASA, TANESCO, TTCL, institutions that may use the vehicle. And then also we have had conversation with COSTECH as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's ongoing. It's baking. Things are baking.
Okay. So it's an open discussion that's going on. Okay. Are we looking at also maybe just, of course, I understand the open dialogue with the government that is being, with the policymakers that is being in place. But are we also looking at other countries? I know Rwanda is also making huge progress in this, or Uganda, or even Kenya. Are we looking at maybe picking out some best practices when it comes to this?
Of course. We have every time. So when someone from the government institution ask, of course, you share knowledge of what you already have, makes the process easier. It's the other East African countries are ahead of us in terms of regulations, the industry, the conversations around the industry. They are very ahead of us. So they are looking into it. They are looking into it. Yeah.
Okay. Anything to add on, Eric, to this?
Yes. Of course, the government is looking on that, and what we are waiting is the policymaker and the regulation to come. And when you compare with the other countries like Rwanda and Kenya, they are so forward on electric mobility. But when you see Tanzania is a leading country which is importing a lot of electric vehicles more than those countries. In Tanzania, there's a lot of electric scooters more than Rwanda and Kenya. So it means that Tanzania also, I hope Tanzania also is looking on that, and then to come as fast as possible with this policymaker and regulations.
Okay, thank you. And then there's a maybe just a reminder to the other listeners or other viewers in the call here. If you have any questions, feel free again to also put them in the chat. There is one question that is regarding the battery issue. So it's coming from Cornelia Galbas and is asking where is this battery factory built and which countries support Tanzania for this? I think, maybe. I think Matthew mentioned something about the battery factory. I don't know, Eric, if you also have any issue. So I don't know if anyone can answer this question.
The factory will be in Tanzania. It will be in Tanzania, and we will be, of course, being supported from our how do you say, our other company from China.
Okay.
Yes, our supply company from China.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. And then one general question that both of you can add on. I mean, we spoke about the policies, we spoke about the infrastructure, we talked about the awareness, and so what else do you expect from the government to enable you, or what else is expected of the government to make this possible in terms of promoting the business or the sector in Tanzania? I think Alma is also mentioning things like subsidies. Maybe is there something else that you're looking at that you expect from the government in terms of what should change so that the business can grow or the sector can grow?
Yes, I think that is very important for us. So what Emo expects that the government to reduce some import taxes. So we do importing our vehicles, electric vehicles, but the tax now you see that there's no exactly the difference between electric motorcycles and fuel motorcycles. or electric tukutuku and fuel tukutuku. So my wish is the government to sit down to discuss about that and to reduce or to remove those importation costs. But not only that, also my wish to the government or to the responsible sectors that to provide more education to the people of Tanzania, to provide more, to connect we as private sectors, we as stakeholders with those people who maybe like government is, I say like universities, for instance, to connect us in order maybe to produce more, to come up with our own products at the end. So connection between different sectors to promote that. No?
Okay.
I will say I'll say a few items. By the way, Eric, you should check on the import duty. Remember last year it was mentioned on the budget that there will be some relief in import duty for electric vehicles. I don't know if any of you saw that.
We saw that. I received it. Yes.
We took it to task and it's actually working. There's a specific HS code for it, so look out for it. So that statement is actually real. So
just to make it clear, we're talking about this the import duties on the motor, on the vehicle itself, or on the components for the vehicle?
So the statement was on electric vehicles.
Okay, not on the components which you're using, I would imagine.
Yeah. So it's somewhat inclusive, but some parts needs rectification and correction, but it's working. And then another part what I would like to see our government adapts as well is first, hand in hand, kwamba they take charge when it comes to the charging solution for countrywide. And then after that, they go on towards the awareness, bring awareness to the market in terms of usage and benefits of using it. And we all know our country is partly forward in being clear on climate change and all these efforts. And it has policies in hand as well. They have very extensive policies and agreements that they have when it comes to all these meetings that they've had, COP25, COP27, all these COP26, they've had this. So I would like the government to be more vocal and open about it and share as much knowledge and make the people aware that, there's a better way of transportation. It doesn't have to affect the climate as well. So more awareness from the government will be very, very helpful, because as a small startup, to say that you're starting to hold conversations on awareness on electric vehicle, it's very costful.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I totally understand. I think these are measures, and I think there has to be some dialogue going on. And I know it's a big challenge, especially for the existing infrastructure with the fuel motor vehicles to go into competitions, because these have been established. They've been there for over so many decades. You're coming in with electric, which is posing a threat for them. So I think that's a big challenge, obstacle to see. But talking about I think the battery infrastructure, the charging infrastructure, I personally see it as an opportunity for that can generate a different business sector in terms of this, because I think because the problem is, if every organization is doing its own has its own battery infrastructure or charging infrastructure, that means you're posing like a threat. The same thing we're seeing with iPhones and Samsung and Android devices. So I think this is where you have one uniform company that is standardizing everything and will make much. I think that also has to go into the policy, which in the first instance maybe would be a challenge for you, but in the long run it makes it easier for the sector, because you have a uniform charging system all over the country. I think that will make it much easier. That's at least what I see in this sector. And yeah, so I think I don't know if there's any other questions from the audience before we can conclude. So feel free to maybe turn on your mic for the last 2 minutes, and then yeah, we can conclude it. Okay, looks like, yeah. So before we conclude, I mean, before I go into yeah, any final remarks from both of you, Mercy or Eric? That yeah.
I thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for the more conversations we have. Slowly, the more we'll revolutionize the industry, as Eric called it. This process, it involves all of our stakeholders. It involves media. We need more media talking about it on their own initiatives, like the way the Citizen started the conversation. We need more media to step in and talk about the industry and stuff like that. We need stakeholders for us to to push on our side. We need to allow the government to process this and we move forward. So thank you for the opportunity and thank you for having this conversation. It's a milestone in the industry, to be honest. So thank you very much, and thank you.
Okay, thank you.
More conversations, please.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, and for me, I'll go on that way. Thank you also. And what I would say that electrifying mobility in Tanzania, it's a journey. So it's a change in terms of journey. What we need is all of us to be part of those change. It is our responsibility for every sector in Tanzania. If we want to electrify mobility in Tanzania, it's our responsibility for everyone. So please, everyone should be the part of this change, the part of this revolution, and then we can create more employment, we can create more income, we can even protect our world. Thank you.
Okay. So thank you very much, both of you, especially for the time that you put in. I know in your busy schedule that could at least fix an hour for us. Thank you very much, everyone, for your time this evening. Yeah, and thank you for the questions and your participation as well. Looking forward to hearing from you again.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.